Hi, chat. Welcome to Lamy. And today we are going through a tough time. Today we lost quite a few people because of an accident. And not the proudest moment for Indian aviation, and not the proudest moment for people who were responsible for those things or whatever things that happened. Some say the whole accident happened because of some malfunctions. Others say it is because of pilot's hubris, that the pilot did not listen to the ground crew. And a lot of theories are coming up why and what happened, which is kind of sad, because after something has happened, it is very easy to make stories around it. And today, what we have is a plane crashing, and more than 200 people dead on that plane, and even some people dead where it fell, on the building where it fell. So it is not a very, I don't even know how to put this into words, because this is not a very proud moment, not something that we can ignore either, but not a very proud moment. And just by the virtue of the sequence of events, how it happened, what happened, how it went down, it is quite critical that we understand not just the people who died, but also the people who are currently living. There are two main aspects that we need to understand. Okay. One is people lose lives every day, but when accidents happen, they are very untimely. Okay. Uh, Two, for whatever reason, the plane crashed, and a lot of people lost their lives, but more or less they were one-time passengers. The people who really need the attention are the crew members, because for example, people fly once or twice a month, once or twice a week, or once or twice a maybe year. Okay, people like me, not much. So it was bound to happen someday, and whatever theories are coming out, really don't give a damn about it. But the crew on board, the people who flew every single day, the crew, okay, the pilot and the girls and the guys in the crew, they usually fly every single day. Okay, so if you consider probabilistically, the probability of something like this happening to them is much higher compared to the passengers, and it is equally tragic for both of them. But the courage that it takes, knowing such things happen, and still the courage that it takes for the crew members to fly every single day is on another level. Okay, because we all hear about the plane crashes, we all hear about accidents, we all hear these things, and this is one or two things off and on. But for the crew members, for the people who serve the customers and the other people, the flight attendants and the pilots, they do this every single day. They do this in and out every single day. They are doing this, so it is really commendable for them. Okay, and so the 12 crew members who lost their lives today, instead of, the whole world is mourning, I understand, but instead of just simply mourning and moving on, I suggest we look at their achievements, we look at their lives, and we look at the last moments of courage that it took. What they might have gone through is unimaginable, and I don't want you to imagine that either, because no matter how much we try, it's like asking a guy to imagine delivery pain and asking a girl to, no, guys have it easy. So yeah, so trying and understanding that pain is impossible. The last minute, the frustrations, beginning with frustrations, turning into horror, going through a cascade of things after that, it is not possible, it is not imaginable. And the whole world is on this right now. They are just making these people into numbers and statistics, you know. And this has always been happened. This not just because it's in India and it's, you know, my country. It has been happening that whenever some accidents happen, you know, people turn those into statistics. People turn those into numbers, into, you know, this many people died. Okay, how do I relate to that? How do you relate to that? How do you relate to statistics? How can anyone relate to that? So it's important to understand those are not just statistics and numbers. The people who died are real people. Some of them would have been going to London for their studies. Some of them were going for maybe their honeymoons for the first time, new couples. Some of them would have been aged people who were going to visit their children. Some of them were children who had come to visit their parents and were going back. Many of them business class, many of them whatever's, like a lot of possibilities exist. And then there were the Britishers and Portugals that are being mentioned, and again they're being mentioned like statistics. So uh, it is not a possible thing. It is not a good thing for such unkindness to exist, especially when we know that there are real people behind those numbers. So, you know, here's what we'll be doing. We'll be talking. Look, I will try to get information on the people who died, and let's call it what it is. Okay, let's get information on the people who died. Uh, let's get their stories. Let's, you know, this is called remembrance. Like if somebody died back in 1900s, we don't know about them. 2000s, we don't know about them. You know why? Because news loves covering it up as a statistic. The family members are too destroyed to talk about it. The media ends up having too much on its plate to even try to talk about it, because they are busy covering all those numbers, and which it is not. Okay, let's be frank about it. These are not just numbers, these are real people who really died, and their stories matter. So one of my close friends has his family entangled in this. Now nobody was hurt, but they have their family entangled. So I will try to get as much information as possible, and let's celebrate the courage and bravery of the people and the crew members, especially, who are the people who are trained to deal with such things when the time comes. So let's dedicate this session and maybe even the next session for this. I will try to get scoops of all the stories of all the people, real people, not just statistics. And I urge you to do the same. If you know anyone who was ever involved in any kind of accident and was just turned into a statistic, I want you to get out there and get their stories. You know, post something about them. If somebody has passed away in your life, make a video about them, make something about them that touches you or that touched you, share their story, share who they were. You know, let's not forget people. Let's share about them. Let's share their stories and their ambitions and their dreams. Whether they achieved it or not doesn't matter. You know, those are still real people with real feelings and emotions. So let's get out there and let's get their stories. Let's understand what went through their minds, and let's get it out into the public, you know, because we want them to be heard. They were real people. Hi, Noel. Welcome to the live stream. Yes, the memories. So here, what happened is today in India, they had a plane crash, and Don't know whose fault it was, but it was a very tragic event. I think barely one or two people survived in that. According to the news, just one person survived. So here today we are talking about the bravery of all the crew members. So the people who were, let's just call it what it is, okay? The people who died, most, their stories matter, okay? Why they were on the plane, what led them to being on that plane, and what were their ambitions, their dreams, their memories. They all matter. They matter to the people right next to them. Like every person's story matters. So it matters to their families, it matters to their friends, and that is what I would like people to really get into. And not just this event, but any other tragedy that you know about, where the news simply made it into a statistic instead of telling us about the real people behind the scene. If they just turned it into a statistic and told you so many people died in such an incident, that's not the real story. Story is where there's a character, where there's an ambition, where there's people involved, where there's lives matters, all those things. So a lot of things go into a story. So what news is covering up is like literally nothing. They're just giving us statistics. They are sensationalizing things. An accident is not supposed to be sensational. Accidents are not supposed to drive media coverage. Okay, they are either lessons that the company needs to learn, and or they are lessons for the people to learn, and in this case it is both. So that's why we want the stories of the people out. I can like soon share three of the stories from among the wrecks. I have three crew members who are very close friends of one of my sisters. So let's get the stories out. Let's not just stare at the numbers and go thinking about what happened, why it happened, and all those things. It happened. Okay, stuff happens. So let's get behind these stories, and if you feel there is someone who really deserves to be known, okay, it can be a grandfather who loved the grandkids a lot and did a lot for them. If there's a story there, let's talk about him. Let's talk about her. Okay, let's talk about those people who are in the shadows. So and now I know you will not really like this, but let's celebrate. Okay, let's celebrate the courage of those crew members, who risk their lives every single day in and out. Okay, because again, my sister is also in a crew. So the crew members who risk their lives every single day, the ones who risk their lives today, okay, statistically, one person flying every month or every week, way lower probabilities even in statistics. So compared to a crew member who flies every other day, okay, they're risking their lives much, much more. So this is a celebration and a shout out to all the people. Hi, Michael. This is a celebration for all the people, all the crew members. You guys fly in and out, all the pilots who are trained to handle such situations. And in this case, nobody really knows what happened because the pilot had over 1200 hours of flying time. Both the pilots were experienced, amazing pilots, amazing track record. The plane was one of the indestructible Boeing 787s, and this is like the longest duration. Like, I don't know why this happened. Nobody knows actually. Until the black box comes out, nobody will know. The flight recorder will come out and people will know then. But this is what happened. And so this is a very shocking event for everyone. And getting back to the point, let's let's get back to celebrating. Okay, a celebration for the courage of the crew members who risk their lives day in and day out. The crew members who are the only people who can really help the passengers in and out of an emergency situation. Now, this was a situation where nobody could be helped. It happened too fast. Too much happened too fast to be able to react to this, and there was no way out. The fuel tanks were full, and the flight did not respond the way it should have responded. So a lot of things happened too fast, and too much happened. But getting back to the people, the crew members, salutes to you guys and girls. You are the ones who have to respond in an emergency situation. No matter how much people are panicking around you, you have to stay calm. No matter how much things are burning around you, you have to stay calm. You have to stay dry. You have to be the last people out of the ship. You know, the burning ship, the drowning ship, you guys are the last people out. The pilot, I know it's a lot of responsibility for pilots, but the pilot, you are celebrated as well, because it's a tragic event. Okay, happens, but the pilots are the one who keep the plane going, who keep the ship going. So kudos to the pilot and the crew members for having such courage, such determination, despite knowing all the statistics, still going on and off the flights, still risking your lives for other people. And obviously it's your job. Yeah, you make money out of it. Yeah, definitely. But higher the risk, higher the reward. So you guys get paid because of the risk, right? Sad news. Yeah, Michael. Yeah. So, yeah, so you guys are the ones going in and out of the risk zone, right? Every single day. Like, you know, statistically, how the news likes to call it, people have maybe 1 in 1,000, 1 in 1,000,000 possibility of such things happening. The crew members, on the other hand, 1 in 100, 1 in 50. Depending on which state and which country you are in, the probability changes, right? If you have a lot of flights, the probability changes. So the more the number of flights, the more you work, the more you put yourself at risk, right? And in olden days, these were called flying explosives, flying bombs, steel bombs. So all those things used to happen. And yeah, and I just checked the flight radar. 1,73,000 flights were recorded just for today, like this one day today, since GMT shifted time, since the Japan saw its first sun. 1,73,000 flights and still counting were averaged out. So you can go and check it out online. And with these amount and these numbers, the sheer numbers of the statistics and all, it's crazy. It's really crazy how much, you know, people are risking their lives. And yeah, it's their job, but it's a risky job, you know. So yeah, so the celebration goes out, heartfelt celebration for all the people risking their lives. Whenever I travel in a flight, I know, you know, the person I trust the most is the crew member. The person I would go running for my troubles is the crew member, right? And the pilot in the cockpit at that time is like a father figure. She's like a mother figure, you know. Uh, at that time, my maximum trust and faith in humanity depends on that one person. So it is crazy. The sheer amount of stress that these guys have day in and day out. I don't know how they deal with it, but it's crazy. So my heartfelt thanks, you know, gratitude to the crew members and the pilots. Pilots are crew members, but still worth the mention. So thank you for taking us places. You know, in one of the movies I saw, the father keeps asking, I won't name the movie, no promotions, but the father keeps asking the son, you know, hey, kid, where are you going today? The kid is obviously a con artist, so it's a small joke between them, but that's the thing. Uh, Flights happen every single day. People are going places every single day. Crew members keep on routing the same routes every single day. So things happen. And what happened today was definitely uncalled for. Unless we get the flight recorder, we won't know really what happened. Let's not speculate, guys. Don't discuss these things with other people. Don't speculate. Let's get the real story first, and the right story with the right facts, and then we can discuss what happened and why it happened. So yeah, the crew members are the people who need to be celebrated. They need to be encouraged. A lot of people will be leaving their jobs after these incidents, right? Because especially in India, we have a trend of parents guiding their children, right? So a lot of parents and spouses will guide their spouses and children out of these jobs, and we really appreciate these jobs. Okay, so this is to celebrating those people who risk their lives every single day, every single moment actually, when they're in the flight, out of the flight. And we really want more such courageous people who can actually guide us through these things whenever an accident happens, on board, off board. When something lands in the wrong place where it's not supposed to land, again we have to rely on the crew members. So the crew is a very big part of the plane, obviously. Real gang. So I'm doing fine, bro. How are you? Thanks for joining in. And so they are the ones going in and out of the risk zone. So let's celebrate those crew members. If you know crew members, right? Stewards, including, they are also putting their lives on risk, right? Just because the fact is that they fly with the plane. Okay, anyone who flies with the plane is a crew member. So don't, uh, you know, so we have to celebrate these people, we have to encourage these people, and without them, the aviation industry will come crashing down. Okay, we'll have to spend days getting to where we want to go. All right, so let's tell them that we appreciate them, that we want them to continue their work. It is a risky work, right? It's not, statistically, it's not as risky as standing on the border and fighting with other countries, but if you look at it, it's actually even more risky, because dropping down from out there is 100% fatality, right? On the ground, you can still manage out. On the ground, if you get scared, you can get the hell out. But when you're in the air, you just cannot. And these people who risk their lives, they are something else, man. Like, I would not know what to do in these situations. And unless there's a crew member who's telling me what to do, I would just duck under the seat and sit where I am sitting, right? So, and this is what would happen to anyone in panic, right? And when also sometimes when altitude issues happen, when those small masks drop out of the top, that is the time when you really need these people to come and tell you how to use those masks. And they are the ones who are fighting for your life before their own life. Before getting seated, they are the ones making sure that you are safe, right? The crew members are the ones who are making it safe for you. They are making it like you have your entire confidence in them. It's not you yourself. So, and this is about it. See, this is a sensitive topic for me. I'm not saying I want to be politically correct or something, but this is a sensitive topic. My direct friend has people in the aviation industry. Again, the sister I'm talking about is his sister, and I also consider her my sister. So by virtue of association, and we lost a very close person in this accident. So, and the person lived literally 5-6 kilometers out. So today is a sad day. Today is a sad day. And so that's it about it. Okay, so back to the point. Let's celebrate the courage of all the people who are in crew, who are flying these things, who are operating these things, who are maintaining these things, the ground crew who is maintaining these things, like all the planes and everything. Hats off to you guys, hats off to you girls. Why do I have to keep mentioning them separately? But yeah, I have to. Because of you people, I can fly safely. Because of you people on the ground, my planes are maintained. Wherever I go, like, I am sure that the planes are maintained well. What happened today, nobody can really guess. It's just anybody's guess. What happened today is just a fatal mistake somewhere. Okay, somewhere. Because the way that plane just dropped like a rock, it's just anybody's mistake. Let's not blame anyone. Let's celebrate the courage of the people who are flying the plane, who are operating the plane, who maintain the plane, the passengers who were not even trained for anything, and they had to go through this terrible tragedy. Kudos to you. and your souls and your families, if any of you guys are watching, we stand in unison, and not just you and me, all the people who have gone through tragedies over the past whatever millennia. We have all seen accidents happen, we have all seen tragedies happen. You're not alone, right? There have been accidents in my family, there have been accidents in my friends circles, and it happens. Okay, so you're not alone. Good, the company announced a compensation also, so that's one less trouble, and that's about it. Let's keep the spirits high. I don't really know what to say about this. The only thing I can say is thank you to all the crew members, and thank you to all the pilots of the world, actually, because flights right now, I checked on the scanner and I can literally show you there are around 23,000 flights currently happening in this very hour, and that is a huge number. Statistically also, that's a huge number of people risking. Just 10 crew members per flight, and that is 200,000 crew members. That's amazing. Beats me. Okay, that's amazing. The amount of sheer stress they go through. Hi, Dad. Hi, Dad. So that's the sheer stress people go through, right? So, yeah, that is it for today. I really cannot speak much, and I cannot speak enough about the courage of these people who go through the stress of it every single day, who are going like 200,000 crew members are going through the same stress right now. And just imagine the amount of pressure when you hear about such a plane crash and then you have to board the next flight. Like, that has to be nerve wracking. Like, the amount of sheer stress and pain, nerve wracking. And just out of the Hi, Mohammed. Okay, yeah, hi, real gangster. Now I remember. Here to give me the shege, huh? Hi, guy. Welcome, Mohammed. So yeah, we had a terrible accident today in India, and this is what like my whole stream is about: celebrating people. So today, what we are doing is we are going to celebrate the courage of all the people who were involved in the accident. It's fine. Things happen, right? Things happen. I have lost people, so I have developed this nerve of, uh, I don't know, delusional nerve where I don't really want to express fully, but I don't really am like, I don't really get numb completely. So I'm in the middle somewhere where I do care, but I don't really care. So that kind of numbness, if you can imagine, that is what I'm going through right now, because a very close friend of ours also was in this terrible accident. I have lost friends over the years to accidents, so that does things to you. And I'm still lucky, right? Because I'm alive, so I'm lucky, right? And not really, because the ones who have passed away don't have to pay bills, don't have to care about anything, and I'm here paying bills and caring about stuff. So I don't know who's more lucky, right? It's just anybody's guess, at this point. It's just anybody's guess. So yeah, but I do feel lucky for existing here, being alive, being able to celebrate people like you, Mohammed and Michael, and yeah, and Felicity, obviously, because of whom we are all together. So Felicity, amazing person. My dad just entered the live stream and left. So thank you, Dad, for coming along. It must be tough to see me in this position, but thank you. Thank you for visiting. Never give up. Accident went today. Yeah, today. It was a flight accident, and around 242 passengers lost their lives. Yes, Michael. You will also remember him from Felicity, giving me the shege, I guess, real gangster. Huh? Oh, yeah. Yeah. It is actually a terrible news. It is terrible, but you know what? Just because it is terrible does not mean we forget them. Just because it is terrible does not mean we wave it off under the rug. Just because the news is terrible does not mean we forget the people. I will be remembering the crew members, I will be remembering the accident and the passengers. Now I won't get the whole detail, whole scoop on all the passengers, but whoever I can gather it on, I will get that. Uh, I know the crew members showed courage in their last moments. That is something I can really bet my life on, right? Because I have seen enough documentaries to know these people are like the bloody first responders. Half of the plane will be gone, and they will be the people standing, waving half in the air and flying around and still putting somebody's mask on their face. So I know the crew members are crazy. I know they are amazing. This one is for the crew members. Yeah, may all their crew, all their souls rest in peace. The passengers had like nothing to do with it. It was not even their job. They paid to be on the flight, and still they lost their lives. So that is just a mishap. That is just a miscalculation, and it could have been me, right? So it's just anybody's guess. That's what I was talking about. It's just anybody's guess. Whoever, we cannot really judge. The coronavirus took a lot of us out. That was anybody's guess. Like the statistics on the coronavirus are way worse compared to this one accident, but still, and there also people, innocent people lost their lives. The terrorist thing that happened, let's not call it anything, this is YouTube, people make stories up. So the terrorist activities that happened in Pahalgam in recently this past few months, that was an accident, that was a planned accident, but the people who lost their lives were accidentally there. So yeah, people do lose their lives, and it's again anybody's guess. Yeah, so it's anybody's guess, really. We cannot really put a finger on it. We cannot really make guesses about it. We cannot really get into the depth of it. But whatever we can do, whatever small things, small action we can do is trying to celebrate, celebrate the courage of these people. Today, this accident happened, and my friend's sister has to fly right now. Like right now, she is going off to board the plane. So that is how crazy this industry is, and that's how they keep us safe. The crew members, okay, the crew members, they're the only one who can guide you during a flight, during panic, during loss of altitude, during loss of oxygen, during any kind of thing. They are the ones who will come to your aid the first. So the crew members, salutes to you. Anyone, anywhere out there, if you're a crew member, uh, salutes to you. You are putting your life in risk every single day for all of us. Every pilot is risking it for them. Every crew member is risking it for them. Stewards, flight attendants, flight hosts, hostesses, they're all risking it. They're going out of their way and risking it. And I know it's their job. Okay, I have people telling me, bro, but it's their job. Bro, it's their job. They do get ample compensation, I know that. But it's not just their job, it's a risky job, right? One in which we will panic. We, being the people who claim to be brave, will panic. So it's a crazy job. It's something that really tests your nerves. Every single time you take off and you land, the jitters and the jolts, they are enough to make me scared of flights. So just imagine what they go through every single day, in and out, every single flight, right, in the air. It's just crazy. So let's, okay. Yeah, thanks to you too. So let's conclude it here. Let's celebrate the spirit. Let's celebrate the people. Let's celebrate the very fact that there are people willing to board their flights even after this. And let's celebrate all the people who died, because I don't know how many people will, remember them. Majority, the statistics are that majority of them will be shrugged under the rug. They will be swiped off. They'll be told not to remember this incidents. Some people will remember it so much that they'll go far enough to sue the company. Fine, everyone has their own system of dealing with grief. It's fine. And so let's not forget, and every single day, whenever you're on a plane, whenever you board a plane, get off a plane, remember, the crew members are the ones who go in and out, day in, day out. making sure that you're safe. They are the ones who are getting trained in order, like in an emergency, they are the one who will be saving you, right? So this is for all the crew members, all the pilots, crew members. Today's celebration is about you guys. It is a tragic incident, no denying that. But having the courage to celebrate the people who put their lives on the line every single day, and then this happened. They knew this was coming, it happened. They were prepared for it mentally, not the passengers, the crew members. Passengers were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But the crew members, it is an eventuality for some because they put their lives in risk every single day. Just it is what it is. So let's celebrate all the crew members. If your family is in the crew, if your family is a pilot, if your family is an air hostess, steward, kudos to you guys, knowing all the risks. You're still going out there, knowing this stuff happens. You're still going out there serving the people, making sure everyone else is safe. In an emergency, making sure everyone else is seated and have their seat belts on. Every single time you take off and land, you have their seat belts on. You are the ones who unbuckle your seat belts the moment something happens. You rush towards the emergencies. You rush towards patients who are having a hard time. You rush towards culprits and convicts also when they get out of their mind. So you guys are the ones putting your lives on the line every single time. Thank you for that. We celebrate your courage. That is all I can say for this time. I will be getting back with the stories of the people I can actually reach. If you guys know about the people who have lost their lives or something has happened and they really should have had a shout out, let's get it going. Let's talk about those people. All right. So all the flight crews out there. Yes, Michael. Kudos to all the flight crew out there. Right. So yes, let's get this celebration started. Start celebrating the lives and courage of all the crew members in flights, out of flights, and in any risky business. Even I told you about my father. He has sailed on ships for the longest period of time. So he has risked his life as a crew member of a ship. You know, when ships sink, the probability of surviving goes down with every second, not minute, second. With a plane, it's much less. With a plane, it's within moments, but with a ship also, it is much less. With every passing minute, the ship keeps on sinking. The probability that you'll get out alive reduces. So again, kudos to all the people who sail ships, planes, anywhere. Oh, we have had railway accidents, right? And oh, bus accidents, you know, transport accidents, a lot of transport accidents. Oh, and there are people dying on the borders. So guys, it's a lot of people to celebrate. What are we celebrating? We're not celebrating anything but their courage. The courage to put yourself out every single day. That is what these crew members are made up of. That is what these sailors, these aviators, and these railwaymen are made up of, right? The courage, the fabric that they are made up of is courage. So we are celebrating the courage inside of them. All right. Today's session is just about courage. And yes, I need all those stories. I need all those other people that we have not heard about. I need their stories. I need the scoop. Who they were, what they wanted, what were their ambitions, what were their desires. I want all of it. All right. So let's get the party started. Tell me about these people. We will showcase their stories. I will read them out. We will record this, put it into YouTube archives forever, right? So even if it's a simple family member, tell me about them. I will record them and I will put them in archives. 100 years down the line, I want people to know that they existed, right? Tell me about their stories. Tell me about their heroism. Tell me about the small deeds. Like yesterday, we had people telling us how they like literally just woke up without hitting the snooze button. That is amazing, right? And today we have these courageous people losing their lives to a freak accident. That is commendable. Not the losing life is commendable, obviously, but them having this kind of courage is commendable. So tell me about these stories. We can put up, we can record them, we can together I want you to record them, tag me. I will showcase your videos on my channel. That's a done deal. If you do it on your channel, kudos. I will come personally and I will kudos you, right? So let's get these unheard stories out. Let's get these real stories out. These people who never, like, people don't know about, let's get these stories out. If there was somebody in your family, let's get these stories out. Okay, so let's get all the stories out. Let's get all these people known. Let's put faces behind the stories. Okay, and no more statistics. That is the thing. No more statistics. What we are celebrating is courage, not a random act of kindness. This is courage. This is courage in its purest form. The crew members, hats off to you guys again. And again, why this kind of a celebration? Army, Navy, Air Force, right? These three people, they are always celebrated because we know they are risking their jobs, their lives, everything. They choose the life, okay? They choose the risk. They love serving their country, not violence. I was going to say violence, but they love serving their country and they're ready. They know that end of the day, fatality is what awaits them, not the crew members, not the pilots, not the crew members, not the passengers. So let's get these stories out. Don't talk about the accident. Don't talk about it. Talk about the people who we lost. Talk about their stories. Let's hear their stories. Okay. So this is another thing. If you know someone who has lost their life in this accident, talk about them. Tell us their story. Tell us who they were, what were their ambitions, what were their dreams, what were they were going to do in London, like where the flight was headed. So let's get all these stories together and let's get on their cases. Okay, I know they're gone. I know they're just dead. One day we will also all be gone, but we will be leaving behind stories, guys. If you are following me, and I'm also following you, obviously, we will leave behind stories. We will leave behind legacies. One day, one day it will happen. One day you will have your last sunrise. You will see the last sunset if you are lucky, or the sunset will be one day before. But one day you will have your last sunrise. One day you will have your last sunset. One day you'll have your last favorite meal. One day you will have the last conversation that you ever have. And this one day can be any day. You will never know about it. So every single living moment right now, since you have survived this crash, congratulations. Now start caring about the people in your life, mend broken relationships, mend broken bonds. Okay, if your family you're not talking to, start talking to them. If there's someone in your life who you stopped talking to a while ago because of ego issues or some other kind of issues, I know most of them are ego issues. Let's not get into the details, but if you have someone such that you stop talking to them or such thing happened, get in touch with them, get back in touch with them, start talking to them, start expressing yourself, tell people how much you care about them. Even if they don't do it back to you, they don't ever tell you, it's fine, get it off your chest. Okay, and you never know when is the last day, right? So get it out, get it out into the people. Tell the person, okay, fine, you might survive the day, what about the other person, right? The people in this crash, they didn't know that this was going to be their last day. They all had plans, they all had ambitions. Most of them must have had ambitions, but they had ambitions. So you never know when it is going to be your last day. So yes, that is what I would urge you to do. Get in touch with people whom you have not contacted. Sit down with your entire list of people. Start contacting them. Start getting in touch with them. Tell them how much they matter or they don't matter. It's fine either ways, but get in touch. And that's what we can do as a start. Let's begin there. And this is a very tough topic. This has been a very tough topic. Thank you, guys. Thank you for attending the live. Thank you, Michael. I know you guys there. Thank you, Mohammed. And thank you, Dad, for dropping in. I loved it that how you just drop in randomly and say hi. Thank you to Noel for attending this live. Thank you. I shared this moment live with you guys. Others will just get the recording. So yeah, thank you guys. And closing message, let's celebrate all the no let me get enough emotions. Okay, enough emotional stuff. Let's celebrate the spirit of all those we have lost. Let's celebrate the courage, the very fact that they put themselves out into the world every single day. Let's celebrate them, right? Let's celebrate all the crew members. Let's celebrate the pilots who must have tried their best till the last moment to get the plane under control. Let's celebrate all the people who lost their lives. It's a tragic event, but we have to move on, and we have to move on while remembering them. So find pointers where we can celebrate them. If you know anyone who lost their life in this freak accident, let's talk about them, right? Let's talk about them, and let's get people to know their stories. They had ambitions, and the ambitions died with them. Let's not let that happen. Some of their stories will be inspiring, some of their stories will be grandeur. Let's not let them end with them, right? Tell us their stories, let's keep them alive. That's how I would put it. Let's keep them alive. Let's keep these people alive, right? Tell me their stories. I will tell you at least 3 stories of the crew members who lost their lives. Tomorrow, at this time, we will talk about the crew members whom I can get in touch with, their families or friends or whatever, and I will tell you the stories of these people. Let's keep them alive, right? Let's keep the people alive. Take care. Kudos. Thank you for joining the live, and see you tomorrow. And I cannot find the button.